Here are 4 ways you can improve at copywriting really fast so that you make yourself more money and you make your clients a hell of a lot more money. A lot of copywriters think that they have to buy programs and courses and hire a bunch of coaches and read a ton of books, but it's really not that complicated. If you want to get better at copy affordably and without spending hundreds of hours practicing stuff that doesn't really make any difference, just follow these 4 things I'm about to share with you and you'll see your copy get better within a few weeks. So with that said, let's get into the 4 things. Maybe you guys can see this mist here. That's really refreshing. It's like super hot in Tokyo right now. Check that. They actually have a little spray where they actually spray water so that everybody gets refreshed. It's really great. So if you see it in the shot, that's what it is. Okay, so the first way is to hand copy hundreds and hundreds of sales letters every single day until your hands burn and you feel the pain and you just really regret being in this industry altogether. Actually, no, obviously not, right? But a lot of people teach that they say that you should be hand copying a lot of copy. I tried it. It didn't do the job for me. Like I've seen a lot of copywriters that get good writing like with hand copy, but it wasn't what made me a good writer. What made me really good in the early days and get some of my biggest wins from my first big $1 million clients, the first thing I did was I just consumed a lot of good copy. It's like if you want to get good at something, you want to immerse yourself and surround yourself with that environment. I mean, here we are. We're here in Harajuku, Tokyo. And in this environment, everybody speaks Japanese. I had to order at the counter in Japanese.
一つ
で
と、はい、それ以上です。
これもね、
ともう
ありがとうございます。
それも
傷の確認お済みですか？
Every sign is in Japanese. The people speak Japanese, right? The subway is in Japanese, the train station's in Japanese. The whole country is in Japanese, right? So if you want to learn Japanese, where better to learn Japanese than in Japan? You're surrounding yourself with Japanese. You're going to hear high quality Japanese. The copywriting equivalent, it's like trying to study Japanese from a book all the way in America. Like, would you learn Japanese really quickly from a book in America? Or would you learn Japanese being in Japan, engaging with native speakers every single day? How much faster do you think you would improve? So it's the same thing with copywriting. It's like, yeah, you can hand copy letters. You can write letters till your fingers bleed. Or you can surround yourself every day with high quality copy. For example, you can sign up to some of the best email lists in the industries that you like, and you can read their emails every single morning. So spend 20 minutes reading really good emails. Or if you want to improve at ad copy, go on Facebook and scroll. It's the one time you can actually scroll on Facebook. You scroll, you get some ads, you see those ads, you read them, and you go to the next page and you see what the next page has to say, and the next page has to say. And when you do this, you're gonna get better. You're gonna get better every single day. You're gonna start seeing what good copy sounds like and what not so good copy sounds like. But the most important thing is that you consume great content. And bonus little tip that you can use this one thing as well to get better at copy is you can look at copy from a different industry than the one that you're in right now. So let's say you write copy for a health coach, someone that helps people lose weight, for example. What if you went into the pet industry where someone sells, I don't know, maybe like dog food, right? It's completely unrelated, but there might be something very interesting about a different, interesting, unique way that the dog food ad copy is written that you could potentially find something similar there, and you can bring it to your health coach and use a very similar strategy for your health coach, and it'll sound completely different to everybody else's copy in the industry, but it'll still be good. Like, I love consuming cross-industry copy. It really gives you an unfair advantage because most people are not doing that. Most people only look at the copy within their industry. So that's number one. Consume really, really good copy, immerse yourself, and you'll just get better almost through osmosis. The second point is very similar to the first point. Once you're consuming copy, you want to start breaking it down. You want to start analyzing it. Reverse engineer. Why was this piece of copy good? Why did the copywriter say this? Why did the copywriter say this? Why did the copywriter say that? This is a much more powerful exercise than hand copying because what you're doing is you're breaking down really, really good copy. A few years ago, I was a guest coach for a business owner that had a lot of copywriters he was teaching copywriting. And every week I would get on the phone with these copywriters on Zoom. They would write these letters, and one of them told me that he'd been writing letters every single week, maybe 2 hours a day, every day. And I was like, looking at his copy, it wasn't that good. And I was like, how long have you been hand copying for? He's like, oh, months. Like, you telling me that you've written, like, with your hand copy, like over 100 hours, and that's how good your copy looks? Like, I felt kind of sorry for the guy. I mean, he clearly put in a lot of time. And so that's when I really started to notice that some people this exercise works well for, some people it's not so effective, some people it doesn't really work. And that's why I much prefer breaking down copy and reverse engineering copy. You see, when you do this, you're forced to actually think about the writing. Whereas when you hand copy, if you can lose attention very quickly, like I actually lose my focus quite easily. You know, that I don't know if I have ADHD, but I can often lose focus. So if I was hand copying, because I used to try it, like when I first started, I did try hand copy. After 5 minutes, I'm like zoning out. I'm not even paying attention to what I'm writing anymore. And that's the biggest issue with it. I think it's not even the fact that you're hand copying, it's that you lose focus. So if you're somebody that can stay focused on something like writing something word by word, and you don't lose focus, then maybe it's worth trying. But for most people, I don't think it's an easy exercise to stay focused on. I think most people would lose focus. So I much prefer breaking down copy and analyzing copy. And you're gonna see cool tactics. You're gonna see new ways to do things. You don't need to read a book. When you analyze, you see for yourself. You see for yourself how something should be said, why it's said the way it is. And you remember it so much better than if somebody else teaches it to you. So that's point number 2. Break down copy and analyze it and reverse engineer it. The third point is to write. Just write a crap ton, okay? Write every single day. I remember one of my mentors, he gave me this illustration of the guy that procrastinates and doesn't really want to get the work done. Or like a perfectionist procrastinator. And he wants to get strong. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna do some push-ups, but let me make sure that I do the push-up perfectly. Let me make sure that this push-up is like the exact, I don't wanna hurt myself, I don't wanna be out of form, let me do the perfect push-up. And then there's the other guy over there who just does like 30 push-ups. He just falls to the floor and he does 30 push-ups. And then he falls to the floor later and he does another 30 push-ups and another 30. Who do you think is gonna be stronger? The guy that did 3 push-ups perfectly, or the guy that did, 60, 70 push-ups, average push-ups? Well, obviously the guy that did the 70. And I would even argue that the guy that does the 70, as he does more and more push-ups, he's gonna get better at his form. He's gonna improve at the push-ups, right? So simple illustration, but I want you to think about how it's similar to copywriting. If you sit there and you're like, I need to write the best email. I need to write an amazing email. This email has to be the best email the client has ever seen. He's paying me so much money. It's $100 for one piece of copy. I have to make this the best thing I've ever written. You're never gonna get anywhere. My belief on it is like, just write the damn email and then write another one, and then write another one, and write another one. Your 100th email is gonna be better than your first email. So instead of saying like, how can I write an amazing email? Start asking yourself, how quickly can I get to the 100th email? How quickly can I get to the 1,000th email? At this point, I've probably written maybe 5,000 emails, probably maybe even more at this point. I've definitely reviewed thousands and thousands of emails at this point with all my copywriting clients. And so I would look back on my writing from 5 years ago and I would say like the biggest thing is that I've just done so much copy. I've written so much copy. It just comes to me. It just comes naturally. Like I'll start writing something, I already know what I want to say. And it's not because, I would say it's not because of this like talent. It's not a talent thing. It's just, I've done it so many times, it's like second nature to me. So instead of worrying about textbooks and courses and programs, if you want to get better at email copy, if you want to get better at sales copy, if you want to get better at VSLs, if you want to get better at ads, just write a lot of that thing. Last point on this, like my sales letter skills are not as good as my email skills because I haven't written nearly as many sales letters. I've written less than 100 sales letters in my career as a copywriter, but I've written thousands of emails. So I can write an email when I'm asleep, basically when I'm asleep, or like just as I wake up. I can write an email on a train, I can write an email on an airplane, I can write an email while I'm distracted by other people, I can write an email live in front of a crowd of 100 copywriters. I can easily do that. I can write an email like even on video, like this, I could do it. But sales letters, I don't know. I'm gonna have to be in a very quiet environment. I'm gonna have to practice. I'm gonna have to prepare myself because I just don't have as much experience with it. I just haven't written as many. It doesn't come to me as naturally. So that's point number 3. Write. If you're a nerd, you'll love this kind of spot. And this is in Harajuku, so there's also other places all over Tokyo that have these machines, but like this is a particularly cool spot with some really little gacha spots. Camera guy, do you want something? Okay, show us. Okay, show us. Okay, this one, the Ichigo friends, strawberry friends. So Hello Kitty strawberry friends. Okay, so we'll get. You use 5 coins for this one. So yeah, 5 coins. So 1, and then you go. And there we go. It's like it's packed in an Ichigo little packet. Here you go, camera guy. So, and this is probably the most important one of all of them. I mean, writing is really crucial. Write. But editing, edit is the 4th point. And you want to edit a lot because editing is where copy goes from average to great. Copy that sounded okay, that sounded kind of interesting, becomes, wow, this is really compelling. And most people don't really edit. Most people write the copy and then they kind of like clean it up a little bit, they polish it a little bit, but they don't take it to the next level. They don't look at all the pieces. They just look at a couple of the words. They don't look at the overall message. For example, here's a couple things that I look for when I'm editing. I look at the idea of the copy. I look at the idea. I look at the lead. I look at the bullets. I look at the hook. I look at the angle. I look at the overall structure. I look at the way I close the email, if we're talking emails. I look at the tonality of the email. I look at the emotion. These are all things I look at separately when I'm editing. And these are all things I would highly recommend that you look at. And we cover all this stuff in Copy Basecamp as well, actually. So if you want to join us in there and like go through the exact process that I go through and follow some of the exercises I use to edit my copy, you can join us for just $2 a day. Click the link below, join us. I think you'll find it's one of the most refreshing programs that you've ever been through because we don't spend a lot of time on actually content and training stuff. It's like 50-minute module and then an hour and a half of actually writing and editing. So like we really just focus on, actually all 4 of these steps. We actually focus on, we have a lot of good copy examples. We break down the copy together. Then I give you a lot of exercises to write. And then I actually give you exercises to edit as well. And you should do all those things. So for just $2 a day, I think you'll get really good at copy. If that's something you want, again, links in the description below. Click the link, join us. I think it'll be great. So yeah, like editing is so important. And most people they only edit once or twice. Next time you finish your copy and you finish the edits and you think you're done, I want you to say to yourself, how can I edit this a bit more? How can I do one more edit of this? And if you need to sleep on it, if you need to take a break and go away from your computer and come back, it's worth it. Go away, take a moment, come back, look at the copy again, and see if you can make it better. See if there's ways to edit that again. Go through the points I made in this video, or join us in Copy Basecamp and use the exercises I give in there. Whatever you do, edit, and when you feel like it's great, edit even more. Don't stop editing. And this is why I think a lot of copywriters that don't write good copy is because editing takes time and people don't want to spend too much time on their writing. They'll write for 2 hours and they're like, okay, it's enough time. I've spent way too long on this email. I'm telling you, if you spend that 3rd hour on the email, I know you're spending more time than you need to on the email. But you know what happens? When you do that, when you edit and you push yourself and you spend more time on editing, you start to develop subconscious habits and it starts to become part of your writing process. So what takes you 3 hours today will take you 2 hours in a few months. And then would take you only 1 hour. And then when you're at 1 hour, you still start editing again. And maybe it takes you an hour and a half, but then it becomes part of your natural process. It goes back to an hour again. And in the long run, eventually this stuff all becomes subconscious. I mean, I've got to the point now where 90% of my copy is already written in just the first draft. Like I'll just write it the way it is and I make very few edits to it, But I'll say that that's not with all types of copy, right? But it's got to that point because I've written so many emails. So that's why writing, editing, they go together. It's incredibly important. And the bonus, I'll give you a bonus. So actually step number 5, which you don't necessarily need if you're just getting started, But I would still highly recommend it if you want to make this a professional career where you make 6 figures and live the life that you want, is getting feedback from somebody that's really good at copy. It's not necessarily about having a coach or a program. It's about having someone that's been where you are right now. Having a copy coach actually review your stuff and give you feedback is going to point you in the right direction. It's going to fast track the process. I didn't have a copy coach when I started. I literally just did the 4 things I shared with you. And then when I got my first very big client, I got a copy coach. And that's when I got really, really good, really, really quickly. So I don't say it's like day 1 you need it, but when you start making money as a copywriter, it is definitely 100% necessary. You absolutely need somebody to give you direct feedback. And that's why I find most like copy coaching gurus and programs, like, yeah, I'm sure there's some value to it, but I don't usually find that the value is where it should be because of that, because you need 101. This is not a course that you take in school. Copywriting is an apprenticeship. Copywriting is a skill. You need a skill transfer from it. It's like learning to be a carpenter. You need a master and an apprentice. You need it's a craft. It's a craft. All crafts require that apprenticeship experience, and copywriting is no different to that. And that's why I'm not worried about the future for copywriters, because all the good copywriters, they've always had a master and an apprentice. There's always been that. I had some, we call them, I guess, copy chiefs. I've had a few copy chiefs that have directly coached me over the years, some of the best in the world, some of the best copywriters who have made probably collectively maybe $1 billion at this point. I don't know, just a lot of money. They've made a lot of money, and I had the privilege of learning directly under them for years, and they would review a lot of my work. And so that's one of the ways that I got good, and it's thanks to those patient copy coaches and copy chiefs that I'm here sharing this with you today. So I would highly recommend, once you're winning, once you're making a little bit of money from copywriting, or maybe even if you already have a job and you can afford it, get a coach as fast as possible that's going to give you some direct feedback on your skill. You're going to improve really, really quickly, and it's going to be the best investment that you've ever made in your entire life into your copywriting career. And with that, that's all I got for you for now. Have a great day, and go and implement what I just shared with you right now, right after this video.